Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabi. I welcome you to Genetics Bingo. Without wasting any of our time, let's go directly to our quiz. To receive genetic information from one's parents. A. Fingerprinting. B. Mutation. C. Inherit. D. Genetics. And the answer is C. Inherit. The insertion of genetically altered or normal genes into cells using recombinant DNA technology to replace the defective genes that cause genetic disorder. A. Farming. B. Gene therapy. C. Genome. D. Linkage. And the answer is B. Gene therapy. Condition resulting from a change in a gene or the number of chromosomes. A. Hybrid. B. Heredity. C. Genetic disorder. D. Inheritance. And the answer is C. Genetic disorder. A heterozygous individual or a crossbreed animal or plant, i.e., one arising from a cross between two different species, race, or variety. A. Karyotype. B. Hybrid. C. Interons. D. Mutation. And the answer is B. Hybrid. Modern techniques and processes used to artificially alter the genetic information in the chromosome of an organism. The process involves the following. 1. Isolation of gene. 2. Cutting or restriction. 3. Transformation, that is ligation. Introduction of base sequence changes. And 4. Expression. A. Genetic engineering. B. Monohybrid cross. C. Genetic screening. D. Multiple alleles. And the answer is A. Genetic engineering. A project undertaken by scientists worldwide to try and establish the DNA sequence of the human chromosome. A. Law of segregation. B. Germ cell mutation. C. Human genome project. D. Genetic disorder. And the answer is C. Human Genome Project. The DNA from individuals is analyzed and a DNA profile is made. This is similar to a barcode. A DNA profile is unique for each individual. Profiles can then be compared for identification purposes. A. Law of segregation. B. Genetic fingerprinting. C. Genetic screening. D. Genetic disorder. And the answer is B. Genetic fingerprinting. New combinations of genes that have arisen in offspring as a result of gene mutation, chromosome mutations, or the use of recombinant DNA technology. A. Genetic recombination. B. Germ cell mutation. C. Genetic engineering. D. Gene therapy. And the answer is A. Genetic recombination. Pair of chromosomes in diploid cell, same length and shape, and contain genes at the same position for the same trait. A. Multiple alleles. B. Non-nuclear inheritance. C. Homologous chromosomes. D. Monohybrid cross. And the answer is C. Homologous chromosomes. The study of the structure and function of genes, the mechanism of inheritance and variation, and the transmission of traits or characteristics from one generation of plants or animals to another. A. Gene therapy. B. Genetics. C. Genotype. D. Law of segregation. And the answer is B. Genetics. An individual that does not breed true for a particular trait, since it has dissimilar genes for the trait, capital N, small n, capital T, small t, i.e., it has both the dominant and recessive genes. A. Heterozygote. B. Guanine. C. Homologous. D. Heterozygous. And the answer is A. Heterozygote. The natural law or property of organisms whereby their offspring have various physical and mental traits of their parents or ancestors, i.e., certain traits controlled by a genetic code within the chromosomes are transmitted from one generation to the next. A. Karyotype. B. Genome. C. Heredity. D. Linkage. And the answer is C. Heredity. Test to identify the presence of a specific gene or the presence or absence of changed or harmful genes possessed by an individual. A. Genetic screening. B. Hybrid. C. Mutation. D. Nucleic acid. And the answer is A. Genetic screening. All the genes of an individual or all the genes possessed by members of a population or species. A. Genome. B. Inheritance. C. Linkage. D. Nucleic acid. And the answer is A. Genome. One of the purine nitrogenous bases present in DNA and RNA, known by its abbreviation G. A. Genome. B. Gene. C. Guanine. D. Genotype. And the answer is C. Guanine. Genetic makeup of an individual or the genes that they inherit, e.g., capital T, small t. A. Interons. B. Guanine. C. Gene therapy. D. Genotype. And the answer is D. Genotype. Spontaneous change that has occurred in a gamete. This change can be passed on to the offspring produced. A. Monohybrid cross. B. Germ cell mutation. C. Nanonuclear inheritance. D. Human Genome Project. And the answer is B. Germ cell mutation. Dear friends, Thank you so much for participating in genetics. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. I'm Joshua Mugabi. Bye bye for now.